going to be Jean Ryder. She is going to be talking about applying to grad school, everything you need to know. Jean's a graduate assistant athletic trainer at Forest Park High School. She's going to be graduating in May from George Mason with her master's in exercise, fitness, and health promotion. I want to welcome Jean.
Six numbers.
The 6 numbers? Sorry. Sorry, guys. Clearly, I don't know my BOC energy. It's usually just in there in memory. All right, well, never mind. We'll see what we can do without it.
What do you need, Jean?
It's fine. It'll work. Okay, so apply to grad school, everything you need to know. All right, let me first set the scene. It's like 2 weeks before graduation. We're at the ATEP party, and I'm getting my senior award, and Dr. Mrs. says, "Oh, what are you going to do next year?" And I'm like, well, I don't know. Absolutely no clue. I didn't apply anywhere. I didn't do anything. I literally froze. He said, well, I have a summer job. So after that, I had absolutely no clue. Okay, so that's setting the scene. Now we're going to talk about what you should do, and later I'll tell you why I'm just an idiot when it came to this. So, why did I choose to go to grad school? I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do in the future, but I knew that I eventually wanted to go. I'm the type of person, if I had taken a year off or 2 years off, wouldn't have gone back. I was in the mindset of school, so I just needed to keep going with it. I knew I wanted to practice athletic training eventually, and I felt this was a good opportunity to be in a safe sort of environment where I could still have someone in charge of me, so if I had questions about something, I could still acceptable to learn and ask questions. I wanted to be competitive in the future. 70% of athletic trainers right now get a master's degree or higher, so that's a pretty big number. So if I have a master's degree going against someone who has a bachelor's degree, I'm already a little bit higher than that person. You also make more money if you have a master's degree. They tend to pay you a little bit more, so that's always a benefit. So before you guys apply, you need to ask yourself, is this something that you really want to do? Okay? Know that it's going to be long hours with your assistantship, and it's also going to be long hours in the classroom. You're going to be underpaid, you're going to have lots of high expectations, and there's no excuses. Okay? But you get the opportunity to advance your education. You can usually get your education paid for. You can get valuable experience, and you get the opportunity to work with awesome patients, clients, and professors, and friends. You meet so many great people. So, the process. So before you go, you need to ask yourself these questions. Geographically, where do you want to go to school? Okay? Do you want to stay on the East Coast? Do you want to go out anywhere else? What do you want to study when you're in grad school? There's a couple schools of thought here. You can get a master's in athletic training. You can get a master's in another health-related or exercise-related field. Or you can go in a different route with a teaching certification. You can really do anything you want. But no, some programs do require you to be in a specific program in their school. So if you were to be a GA, they might require you to be in the athletic training program. That's something every school is going to be a little bit different with that. You also want to ask yourself if you want to work as a graduate assistant. You don't have to do that. You can just go to grad school. And then, do you have a specific setting or a specific sport in mind? So if you are gung-ho on working with football, like in a D1 program, you might want to look for positions with a D1 football program. Okay? You also need to ask yourself, which one of these is the most important thing? Okay, so if you are set on going to school in Virginia, go from there. If you are set on going to work in a certain sport, start looking for positions there and then move yourself across the board that way. Okay, so before you apply, you need to join the NAD. Okay, this is what I was going to do with this. You need to join, and you need to go to the Career Center like every single day. This is where you're going to find all of the positions. And if you had a number, or if you remember your number.
You need to log in.
Huh? Someone have a login? Oh, look at this. Someone's more prepared. I have a number. My computer knows my number. I don't know my number. Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, so this is where you're going to go to find a job. You're going to go to the Career Center. You can do an advanced search. Really? I just put it in. Do it again. They're extra protective on the website. Anyway, so you're going to go to this website once you put it all in. Okay, now we're. All right, you can search by like site, what you want to do, where you want to find a job, but I usually just go the whole thing and go from there. Here, it's going to put up every position that someone posts. It's going to go up here. So you're going to look for if you want to be a grad school assistant athletic trainer. You're going to go to one where it says grad school assistant trainer. There was one. There. Graduate assistant athletic trainer at Western Texas College. Okay, it'll give you basic information about it, what it is, how long it's going to last, where it is. Sometimes it'll even say how much you make when you work there. Sometimes they don't want to tell you because it's that low. And then it'll give you some details about the job, what you need, what the qualifications are to work there, what you'll be doing, and sometimes if it's working with a specific sport, it'll say, oh, working with women's basketball. Okay, so that's where you're going to find them. Okay, so you also need to take and study for the GRE, okay? That's just, sorry, it sucks to have to take it, but most grad schools require you to have to take it. So don't just walk into the room and not study for it, because you probably won't do very well. Actually take the time out of your day and study and do well on it so you can really give yourself the opportunity to go anywhere you want to go. It's just unfortunate. You also need to create a resume. Okay, you're going to do that in one of your classes. I think you work on resume building. But it's something, a resume is always a living document. Okay, you can always add, you can always improve on your resume. Same with the cover letter. You need to write some cover letters. You can write a generic one, or if you have a specific spot in mind, cater that letter to what that job is asking you to do. You also need to find strong, positive references and ask them, in the words of Dr. and Mrs. Caswell, don't just put a professor down as a reference, because if they don't think that you're going to be a good reference, they're not going to say that you're a good reference. They're going to say that you're a bad student, and they don't want to give you a recommendation. Okay, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully you're all A+ students, but you never know. Okay, always ask them and let them know, hey, I'm applying for this job. Do you mind if I put your name down, and can you give me a good recommendation? You can ask professors, you can ask ACIs, you can ask work supervisors. Don't ask your best friend, don't ask your mom and dad. Those are not professional. They don't like those. You can still apply for school even if you haven't taken the BOC or if your results are still pending, so don't worry about that. But do know that you need to take the BOC to be a graduate assistant athletic trainer. You can't just be still a student. Okay, so finding the right program. Make sure it's going to be a right fit for you, okay? When you go there and you're looking at the job, you're looking at where it is, can you see yourself spending 2 years there? Are you going to have fun there? Are you going to lose your mind there? If you don't think you're going to fit in there, I wouldn't go to that place. Make sure the program fits both your personal and your professional goals. Okay, so if you are dead set on working in a college setting, I wouldn't go to a position where they're going to make you work in a high school setting. Okay? If you want to work with professional sports eventually, try and go to a program where it has that sort of outlet for you to eventually make the move into professional sports. Same with secondary school settings and teaching. If you really want to be a teacher, try and go somewhere that's going to allow you to teach students as well. Do you want to go to a big school or a small school? Okay? D1 school versus a small D3 school just depends on who you are. Investigate what academically you will be required to do there to graduate. Could it be a thesis? Could it be a research project? Could it be a test? If you're a terrible test taker, probably shouldn't go to a program that requires you to test out. Okay, you wouldn't want to have to go through the entire thing only to fail the final exam and never graduate. Probably not good. Okay, academically, does it interest you? Look at what the faculty studies, because most likely you're sort of going to piggyback onto kind of what they study. So if you're really into biomechanics and you don't understand it and you don't like it, probably shouldn't go in that direction either. Okay, because this is going to be your research for the 2 years, so if that's not something that interests you, don't even try and attempt that, because that's going to be fun for anybody. Also shop around, okay? You might get really excited because one school's going to be like, we really want you, come here. Don't just say yes right away. Apply other places, figure out which one is going to be the best one for you. So, the interview process. You need to dress professionally. That does not mean wearing a khakis and a polo. It means putting on a suit, putting on nice dress clothes, okay? Be prepared for the interview. Have copies of your resume there. Have an updated professional portfolio that looks nice with all your work in it. Ask questions, okay? This is not just a time for you to sit there and nod your head. You need to engage yourself and ask questions. Again, this is an interview to see if you're going to fit there and then if you're going to do well there, okay? Ask for student contacts. A lot of times what they'll tell you may be different from a student perspective. So ask what current grad school students there, ask for their information, then ask them questions. Hey, do you like the program? Do you not like the program? What's wrong with the program? Stuff like that. Ask for a tour of facility. They usually times they'll give you a tour of the athletic training rooms and the classrooms and stuff like that. And then again, it's another time to see, are you going to be a good fit there? All right, so what to expect when you get there? All right, swag stuff. Okay, tuition. This should be covered. Most of the places pay your tuition. If they don't pay your tuition, and you really want to go there, look into financial aid opportunities and scholarships like that. But really, if they're not trying to at least pay for at least some of your tuition, probably you can find somewhere else that's going to pay for all of it. They're going to pay you to work there. It varies from setting to setting and location and where you are. You can make anywhere between $6,000 and $25,000. Okay, again, it all depends on where you are geographically and what you're doing. So you need to ask yourself, is the stipend competitive? Okay, so $10,000 in the middle of rural Virginia might be great. $10,000 up here, not so great. Can you live off $10,000 up here? Not very comfortably. Know what you personally can afford. If you've saved up a lot of money and you can afford to take that really low salary job, then do it. It's whatever you think you can do. There's a bunch of websites out there, we'll just go to this one really fast, that do like a cost of living comparison. So it'll tell you, oh, I make this much money in this city, I'll be making, how much would this cost for me to live in another city? Okay. You guys, there's a bunch of them out there. Go into that too much. Health benefits, some schools will pay for health insurance. A lot of times it comes out of your stipend, so that's something that you may need to do, you may not need to do. And then other incentives to work there. You don't have, if you go from undergrad to graduate school, you don't have to start paying interest on your loans. You don't have to start paying them back into your school. So that's a big incentive for me because I can't pay those back. Books, some places might pay your books. And then swag. If you will work for a sweatshirt and they're going to give you a sweatshirt, cool. All right, so hours. Yeah, it's a lot of hours. And with both the assistantship and the coursework. For people who work in a college setting, typically 45 plus hours a week with just the athletic training part, okay? A lot of them have to work on the weekends, they travel on the weekends, they work holidays, because what do we usually do on holidays? We watch sports, so who has to be at the games? The athletic trainer. Okay. And also, they're not really off-duty when they're home. When you work with college kids, they can have your phone number. They can call you and text you, be like, hey, this is going on, I need this, I need this, I need this. And you're technically not really off-duty. If you work in a secondary school, like I do, I work in a secondary school, it's typically 30 to 45 hours a week, depending on the season and what sports are playing, game schedule, stuff like that. Not a lot of work on the weekends. We don't schedule a lot of games. Every now and then we might have a match or something. Very little travel. And I'm off-duty when I get home because they don't have my phone number. And then another thing we need to talk about is weekend tournaments. A lot of times when you first get certified, you're so excited because I'm certified and I can actually make real money. and you start signing up for every weekend tournament that you can possibly do, kind of what Annie talked about. You need to take some time out of your schedule for yourself. Okay, if you work every single tournament, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do that, the bank account will be nice, but you're going to be burned out of athletic training really quickly. Okay, so we all love what we do, and we all want to go above and beyond what they're asking, and so then we just sort of start to not really like it that much. So just don't overextend yourself. Do what you know you can do. So the class load. So full-time student, and you're a full-time athletic trainer. Okay. So here at Mason, I think a full-time is 6 credits, but to finish in 2 years, you need to take at least 9 credits a semester. Okay. You will be learning, depending on your program, you might be learning similar information than what you taught in undergrad, but it's going to be taught at an advanced level and a lot quicker pace. So if a teacher right now tells you to read a chapter to be prepared for class, how many of you actually read the chapter to be prepared for class? You can be completely honest, like maybe half of you. Yeah. If you don't do that in grad school, you're going to find yourself very far behind, and you're going to be like, well, I really wish I had read that chapter. I wish someone had told me that. Well, the teacher told me to. Anyways, so don't fall behind. Stay on top of your projects. All right. A lot of times in grad school, it's self-directed learning. Right? So they'll give you an idea. Oh, this needs to be done, but they won't give you dates. Well, you should probably still do them and not wait till the very last week. Again, this is all coming from personal experience. Okay? So yeah, time management. Okay. Some programs might have GPA requirements. In order for them to pay you and to stay in school and to pay your tuition, they may make you make a minimum GPA. At Mason's, it's 3.5. Okay, so if you fall behind the lower 3.5, see your tuition, see your grad school. So don't fall behind in that. All right. So what did I do to prepare for grad school? All right. Well, really, I did nothing. I didn't take the GRE. All right. I applied to one school that didn't offer a GE opportunity or scholarship assistance in the middle of New York City. I didn't become a member of NATA until like way too late before I didn't look at jobs because I wasn't a member of NATA because I was like, I don't want to pay that $50. You should probably pay the $50. I had a terrible cover letter, which I also thought was really good. I thought it was the best cover letter I've ever written. I had a terrible resume, which again, thought was A+ resume. Nope. Really, I got my job because of luck, all right? I happened to be in the right spot at the right time. Don't get me wrong, I worked really hard in school. I passed the exam on my first try. I was a very good student. And they recognized that, and they had an opportunity to come up here at Mason, and they said, you'd be a good fit for this. Would you like it? And I said, okay. Again, I don't have anything going on, so I might as well take it. And I did, and I loved it. I'm glad I took it. It's been a great opportunity sitting there at the end of the year saying, I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing next month. All right? You guys have any questions? Yes.
So do you not have to take the GRE to get into Mason's grad?
I did not. Now you do. Let me explain. I was the last class. If you came from Mason to Mason, like if I Mason undergrad to Mason graduate school, it didn't require you to take the GRE. That's different now. You now have to take it regardless. So sorry. Yes.
Did you take the GRE or the VOC first?
Really, I would take the VOC first. That's the most important thing for me. But if you want to take it like in your GRE, like your junior year of college, that's also fine. Kind of like you did in high school with the SAT. I don't know, does anyone, did you guys take the GRE first? Anyone here take the GRE? Did you take it before your DOC? Okay,
So-
yeah, I would take it before.
So conceptually, think about it this way. You can take your BOC examination in the last semester when you're in senior school, right? So which is earliest, usually we'd recommend people to take it in February if you're graduating in May, or wait until after that. But by that time, the good graduate programs are already looking for students.
Yeah.
So you need to have your GREs taken care of by that time period. Does that make sense? As far as timelines are concerned. So it's smarter to take the GRE earlier if possible.
And that way, if you get a bad score, you can
Exactly.
boost it up. Kind of just like the SAT in high school. Not fun for anybody. Yes?
What's a good score for the GRE?
I wouldn't know. I didn't take it. Anybody know what the score is?
So in the old score, it used to be the verbal and quantitative was like 1,000 minimally. So it's going to be like with the new scores, it's around 150 on the sections. Anybody taken the new GRE yet? if you take the new GRE, if you start studying for the new GRE, around 150 on each section.
I know some of the seniors have taken it, so you could probably ask them. I know Carlos just took it.
So just so you know, at Mason, we will not accept people, that's a minimum criteria. We don't even look at applications who score below 1,000 on the old scale with GREs. Most schools will start at that level of review. We don't even look at files after that if you don't meet that minimum.
How common are BA positions in secondary school?
They're not as common as working in a college setting. They're going to be out there, but you kind of have to look for them. They're not going to be like, with the ones that you see on the Career Center are usually college ones. You can dig a little bit deeper. A lot of it's known people. Again, with the connections, athletic trainers, 6 degrees separation, everyone knows everybody. So if secondary school was where you see yourself wanting to work for a position, talk to the professors here, talk to your old ACIs, see if they know of any programs that offer that as a position. Any other questions? All right. Thank you for